The sun is the fundamental energy source for nearly all processes on Earth. It sustains all life, powering atmospheric circulation, ocean currents, and photosynthesis. Every breath of air and every plant's growth is directly dependent on solar energy. This highlights the catastrophic implications if the sun were to suddenly cease its function. If the sun ceased to emit light, the initial change observed on Earth would be the onset of darkness. This transition to darkness would not be instantaneous across the entire globe. Instead, it would propagate as the final photons of sunlight complete their journey to Earth. Light from the sun takes approximately 8.3 minutes to reach our planet. Therefore, Earth would experience darkness roughly 8.3 minutes after the sun's light emission stops. If the sun were to cease existing, Earth would continue to receive sunlight for approximately 8 minutes and 20 seconds. This delay occurs because light travels at a finite speed, not instantaneously. The distance between the sun and Earth is approximately 150 million kilometers. Therefore, it takes time for the light emitted by the sun to traverse this vast distance to reach our planet. The sky's color is determined by the scattering of sunlight within Earth's atmosphere. Upon the arrival of the final photons, this scattering effect would cease instantly. Consequently, the sky would turn black, regardless of the time of day. Stars would become visible even during what was previously daytime, due to the absence of scattered sunlight. In the immediate aftermath, within the first few hours, solar radiation would cease. The absence of sunlight would profoundly impact the planet's energy balance. Earth's surface would begin a gradual cooling process. Initial temperature drops would be relatively slow. This slowness is due to the significant thermal inertia of oceans. Land masses also contribute to this thermal inertia, delaying rapid cooling. Within the first day, global average temperatures would significantly decline. This cooling would be most noticeable in areas previously exposed to direct sunlight. The primary cause is the immediate cessation of new solar energy input to Earth. This leads to a net loss of heat from the Earth system, initiating rapid cooling. The absence of sunlight would profoundly impact photosynthesis, a fundamental biological process. Photosynthetic organisms, forming the base of most food chains, would immediately cease energy production. This cessation would affect all terrestrial and marine plants, algae, and certain bacteria globally. The initial biological impact would thus be a widespread collapse of primary energy sources. Within minutes to hours of darkness, Earth's primary energy source would be eliminated. This cessation of photosynthesis would initiate a domino effect across global ecosystems. The initial impact would be on producers, the foundation of the food chain. The loss of sunlight directly disrupts the energy flow essential for nearly all life. The cessation of photosynthesis would immediately halt the production of energy for plant life. Consequently, plants would begin to perish due to a lack of essential nutrients and energy. Smaller, fast-growing plant species would be the first to succumb to the energy deficit. Larger, more resilient trees would follow, experiencing a delayed but inevitable decline. The timeline for plant death would range from days to weeks, depending on stored energy and metabolic rates. The collapse of plant life initiates a cascade effect throughout ecosystems. Herbivore populations depend directly on plants as their primary food source. A decline in plant availability leads to a severe reduction in herbivore food sources. This scarcity inevitably causes widespread starvation and rapid population declines among herbivores. Disruptions at lower trophic levels can severely impact higher-level consumers. Carnivores and omnivores rely on prey populations for sustenance. A decline in prey numbers directly leads to food shortages for these predators. This scarcity of food initiates a cascading effect throughout the food web. Such widespread food deprivation can trigger an ecological collapse. This collapse can extend across various biomes, impacting entire ecosystems globally. Oceans, possessing a vast thermal mass, exhibit a slower temperature decrease compared to land. Surface waters would gradually cool over time. This cooling would lead to a loss of ocean stratification. Such changes could potentially impact global ocean currents. Marine photosynthesis is a vital process, primarily carried out by microscopic phytoplankton. Phytoplankton form the foundational base of the entire marine food web. A cessation of marine photosynthesis would directly eliminate this critical food source. This would lead to the decimation of zooplankton populations, which feed on phytoplankton. The collapse of zooplankton would then cause mass extinctions among fish species. Ultimately, larger marine predators, relying on fish, would also face extinction, disrupting the entire ecosystem. Weather systems on Earth are fundamentally driven by temperature differences and solar heating. The sun's energy is the primary force behind atmospheric circulation patterns. Without solar energy, these atmospheric circulation patterns would undergo radical changes. The absence of solar heating would cause a significant weakening of air currents. The Earth's water cycle would be severely disrupted due to lack of energy input. This disruption would lead to a drastic reduction in both evaporation and precipitation. Within the initial weeks, Earth's average surface temperature would drastically decrease. Temperatures would plummet to sub-freezing levels across the entire globe. This rapid cooling would initiate widespread freezing of surface water bodies. Lakes and rivers would begin to freeze solid due to the extreme cold. Eventually, significant portions of the world's oceans would also start to freeze. This scenario depicts a profound and immediate impact on global climate and ecosystems. The immediate aftermath of permanent darkness would plunge human civilization into widespread confusion. This initial confusion would quickly transition into the profound realization of an enduring night. Artificial lighting would become an indispensable and critical necessity for daily life and operations. However, existing power grids, relying on diverse energy sources, would face immense and unprecedented strain. The sustained demand for artificial light would challenge the resilience and capacity of global energy infrastructures. Within days, communication systems would face severe challenges. Transportation infrastructure would be significantly impacted. This disruption is due to the onset of perpetual darkness. Rapidly dropping temperatures would further exacerbate these issues. The constant night would also inflict a profound psychological toll. These combined effects would create widespread societal disruption. In a post-apocalyptic scenario, food supplies quickly become critical for survival. Agricultural systems would fail, leading to widespread food shortages. Existing stored food would rapidly deplete, exacerbating the crisis. Heating becomes a primary concern as ambient temperatures drop significantly below freezing. Survival outdoors becomes impossible without robust shelter and a reliable energy source for warmth. The long-term consequences of this event would span months and years, leading to catastrophic global changes. Earth would transform into a frozen, dark planet, devoid of warmth and light. The planet's atmosphere would eventually freeze solid. Atmospheric gases would condense, potentially depositing onto the surface as ice. This scenario depicts an uninhabitable world, completely altered by extreme conditions. A planet's surface temperature is maintained by a balance of incoming and outgoing energy. Without solar replenishment, the planet would lose its residual heat through radiation. This continuous heat loss would cause the surface temperature to steadily decline. Eventually, the planet would reach an equilibrium temperature far below zero. This final temperature would approach that of deep space, a state of extreme cold. In extreme environmental conditions, the vast majority of life forms would not survive. The Earth's surface would become barren, covered in ice and perpetual darkness. Photosynthetic organisms, crucial for many ecosystems, would cease to exist. Surface-dwelling organisms would also perish, leading to a lifeless terrestrial environment. Some life forms possess the ability to persist within highly specialized ecological niches. Deep ocean hydrothermal vent ecosystems exemplify such resilience. These ecosystems derive energy through chemosynthesis, independent of sunlight. This energy acquisition method allows them to potentially survive for extended periods. Subterranean life forms exist independently of surface ecosystems. These organisms, including certain bacteria and fungi, thrive underground. They rely on geological processes for their energy, not sunlight. Such life forms can endure in insulated underground environments. Their survival highlights the diversity of life's energy sources. The sun is the fundamental energy source for nearly all processes on Earth. Its constant radiation is crucial for sustaining life and planetary functions. Solar energy drives Earth's weather patterns and atmospheric circulation. It powers diverse ecosystems, enabling photosynthesis and supporting food webs. The sun maintains the Earth's temperature within a range suitable for life to thrive. A thought experiment considering a sunless Earth reveals critical planetary dependencies. It highlights the delicate balance that sustains life and ecosystems on our world. Our existence is absolutely dependent on stellar energy, primarily from the sunday. Solar energy is fundamental for the thriving of all life forms on Earth. The sun, though seemingly distant, is the silent engine enabling life on Earth.